Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Lorraine Murphy Show. I'm going to be pretty direct today. I want to have a very honest conversation because there is something that I am just sick of seeing in the entrepreneurial space, particularly amongst female, I actually say especially amongst female founders. And that is the casual conversation that burnout is the norm. And I really do think we've gotten to a point now in our entrepreneurial world that it is almost, it's definitely accepted and it is almost expected that burnout is going to happen at one stage or another in your entrepreneurial career. It's almost, to me, it's like if a woman has got burnout through overwork, that it's a measure of how committed she is. It's a measure of the level of ambition she has. It's a level of that she really, really cares about her business. And I just don't feel like we are talking about the fact that this is not okay. It is not normal. I've had a number of different women come into my world who are either experienced burnout a number of years ago or have kind of recently experienced it and are really in a process of rebuilding their life and their business as a result of that experience of burnout. And they're tired. You know, they're very successful, they're very capable, they're very smart, but they are also really stretched. So that's what I want to talk about today. I want to unpack why we have created this myth or this collective belief that if we want to have successful businesses, it's almost an automatic requirement that we sacrifice ourselves in the process of doing it. And I think along the way, there's almost this lie that's been normalized that, you know, if we want to scale businesses, we want more money, we want more space, we want more team members, more support, more visibility, that as a result of that, we need to have more late nights. We need to be in constant seasons of, okay, I'll just push through this period and then it will get easier and it will get lighter. I think Zoe Foster Blake's book, what did she call her book about entrepreneurship? She's like, everything will calm down soon. I feel like there are so many women running businesses who are just, they've got this train of thought of, it'll calm down soon. If I just get to this, you know, this extra team member, or we get to this extra zero at the end of our annual revenue, or I get to this extra client or this next level of client, that everything will calm down soon. And the fact is, things do not calm down unless we grip up the reins and we choose a different way. So how I'm almost seeing this is it's not a strategic problem, it's actually a design problem. How we are designing our lives, how we are designing our businesses, it's not structured in a way that supports our nervous systems. And I believe, you know, in the past, I've had the experience myself. I didn't fully burn out, but I was very close to burning out in 2019. I've talked a lot about that experience on the podcast here and also on my Instagram and so on as well. And since then, I have had to very intentionally design things in a very, very different way. And what has changed has been my revenue streams, you know, what I'm focusing on within my business, and my team support has changed. How I'm managing my own energy has had to change in order to never, ever, ever land myself back in that space of burnout again, because it was awful. And if any of you have had that experience of either, you know, being burnout adjacent or almost, you know, in full burnout experience, it's awful. So what I actually wanted to do as part of this episode is I want to paint you a picture, because I know for so many of you listening, your standard is switching on your laptop after the kids are down. It's saying no to social events at the weekend because you need to catch up on work. It's taking phone calls and responding to emails at all times of the day, maybe even night. I'm hoping not night, but maybe night. And you are run ragged. You are on this hamster wheel of go, 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 go. And there doesn't seem to be any sign or end in sight of you getting off this treadmill. So if that is you, I just really want you, I've got my hand on my heart if you're not watching right now, I just want you to know that I really see you, and I want you to know that things can be better than this. I promise you that things can be better than this. And what I actually want to do, as I said, is paint a picture of what this looks like, because I realized as I was planning this episode this week, there's women going to be listening like, Lorraine, you're talking about success without sacrifice, and that's all really cute and nice. But there are women listening who actually don't know what you're talking about because they are so on this treadmill of, I talk about that go, go, go energy, that they don't actually know a different way. So I want to share a little snippet into what I do and how I manage my life. And I also want to share some experiences of my mentees and Bold Darling members as well. I want this to be a living, breathing thing. I don't want this success without sacrifice concept to be something that's it's a nice to have, or someday, some way I'll have that, or, oh, that's nice for Lorraine, she gets to have that, and I'm different because XYZ. You are not different. It is so possible and so available for you. It's as available for you as it is for me right now. Because I've been on that path. I've had to make the decisions and make those design changes in order to create a lot more space, a lot more peace, a lot more calm for myself in the process. So in my work with my business, so this is my second business. I started my first business in 2012 and I ran that for 5.5 years. And I've had this second business for just under 8 years now. I work 3.5 days a week. So on Mondays, I have deep work on my business. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I am mentoring. So Thursday is our big Bold Darling day. And Friday then, I have a little bit of overflow time for the first half of the day if there's anything that didn't get done or get moved forward over the week. And Wednesdays is my day with our little boy. So he's starting school next year. Oh my God, I'm already feeling a bit adrift to not have a Wednesday with the child for the first time in, what'll it be? It'll be 9.5 years by the time next January rolls around, which is just crazy. So Wednesday is my day with Wilder. And then obviously Saturday and Sunday, I don't work weekends. The only time I'll work weekends is if I'm in launch and there's kind of extra content that needs to be created or whatever it might be. So I work 3.5 days a week. Fridays, I finish at lunchtime. Not because I can't work more or there isn't other work that I could be doing if I choose to do it. But my decision is I choose to charge myself up on a Friday afternoon because I bounce into the weekend and it's kids and it's groceries and it's family fun and dates with Wade and all of the things, and really resetting the house as well. That's my big thing at the weekends, like reset the house after a big week, and I find it very cathartic and very settling. So I need to take Friday afternoons as my time to charge my own tank, because if I don't, I bounce into the weekend and I feel tired, borderline resentful, and feeling like I never got to actually rest myself this week. I exercise on average 8 times a week, so I walk every morning. I do weight sessions 4 times a week, and I also do at least 1 yoga class a week as well. Trying to layer in paddle, that's the next thing. And I also want to add in some Pilates, but I'm not sure what needs to move in order to do that. So movement for me, I actually just recorded a masterclass this morning from my Bold Darling Mastermind, and this month is all around stress management. And I said to them, that is my non-negotiable because it's my thinking time. It's my time to, shake any stagnant or stuck or stressy energy out of my body. And it's time just to be in my own juices and to ponder, just time to ponder. I don't listen to a podcast. I don't walk with a friend. I see people on their walk. Every morning on my walk, I see this. So I'm walking around the harbour. It's really nice. Beautiful morning. Sun might have just risen. And then there's people on their morning walks. There's women on their morning walks on their phones. I don't understand it. I do not understand it on any level. So that exercise is a non-negotiable for me. Wade and I go on a quarterly overnight together. So we do about 24 hours together, just him and I. Just us. It's so beautiful. I have a monthly one-on-one with our little girl. And, all that. And my business is growing. It's generating beautiful revenue, abundant revenue. And the business stretches me. It challenges me. I get to do cool stuff like being in here for half the day today, recording podcast episodes for you. So the business is awesome, but it doesn't consume me. And that's what I really want you to have a model of as part of today's episode. And honestly, that is not accidental. It is very, very intentionally designed. There are certain things that I have done over the last 6 years since, having that burnout-adjacent experience back in 7 years ago, to enable me to have this space personally and still get to have a growing business. And I see my mentees doing this as well. So last week I had a one-on-one session with one of my Bold Darling VIP members, and we got on the one-on-one call on Zoom. And my first question with all of my one-on-one mentoring is, what does success look like from today? And she said to me, you know what, Lorraine, the only thing that looks like success for me today is celebrating, because today is my first spacious day in 6 years in my business. She's been running her business for over 10 years. So it's been 6 years since she had a spacious day. So that spacious day for her looked like in the morning, she met a friend for breakfast. She did Pilates. She had our session together. And then she had a whole afternoon of deep work on her business that she was looking forward to for the rest of the day. So that's possible for her. To me, that is what success without sacrifice looks like. I've got another mentee in my top tier group. She works 3 days a week. So one of those days is devoted purely to her creativity. So she's writing a book at the moment. She's almost finished. I saw her yesterday. She's got 2 chapters left to go. And the other day, so that's Wednesday, is her creativity day. And then Friday is her rest day. So it's when she does her own personal appointments. She might go to the bathhouse, go for a long walk. She's an avid reader, as you can guess, because she's writing her own books as well. So that's what she does. It's just time to have some space, time to do some life admin. And her business is funding that. It's enabling her to have those 2 days a week to be creative and to really charge up her own tank. And her leadership is protecting that. So the business is funding it, but her leadership and maintaining that weekly rhythm for herself, because she knows it serves her on such a deep level, is protecting that and enabling her to do that. So the reason I'm sharing these examples with you, it's not to show off or to say, hey, look at us, we're all doing this over here. It's to say to you, this is so incredibly possible for you as well. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to put in place, some key steps and key decisions that you choose to make in order to do that. But it is so incredibly possible. If I think about, other mentees, there are women in my world who take every school holidays off. There are women who take 4 to 5 weeks off over every December, January to have a long trip, whether it's in Europe or it's closer to home. It is so incredibly possible. So what I really want to impress on you is its design, its architecture. It's not luck or that some women get to do this and others don't. So if you are considering, how you might be feeling right now as you're listening or watching to today's episode, if you're thinking about your calendar over the next week and how that looks or feels, I just want you to know that there is a better way. It is possible to have the successful business without the sacrifice. It is possible to build a business that's strong enough to hold the life that you want to be living. It's possible to have revenue that supports your nervous system rather than activating your nervous system. If that point I've just made there speaks to you, I've already shared an episode over a couple of months ago called How to Create Peaceful Revenue, which is something I speak to a lot in my world. So it's about having that calendar that reflects your values and reflects what's really, really important to you and really precious to you. It's about designing your week instead of just surviving your week every single week. And if you have been in a 6-day week cycle or maybe even a 7-day week cycle, if you're constantly just saying, I just need to get through this season, you have got an architecture problem. You've got a design problem. I want you to really imagine what it would look like if you got to have the life that you want to have and have a successful, growing, brilliant business that you love being part of. So maybe for you, would it be having a 4-day week? Would it be having a 3-day week? Would it be having a 3.5-day week? One of my Belle Darling members has just ticked over to having a 2-day working week and has a business that's turning over 6 figures that enables her to do that. Would it be Pilates at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday? Would it be no emails on weekends? Would it be no working in the evenings? Would it be having your next baby or having your first baby without having the financial anxiety that might come with that sometimes for people? Is it the creative day? So it's not my version. It's not my different mentees that I've just given you an example of. It's not their version. It's what your version is. And I need to be so fucking clear to you here. None of the women that I've just referenced, including myself, have become any less ambitious because they are not sacrificing themselves in the process of building their business. They've become a hell of a lot more intentional. They've redesigned their revenue. They've redesigned how they're delivering the product or service that they're offering. They've stepped into a whole new level of leadership. And probably the most important level of leadership that they've stepped into is their own self-leadership and how they are leading themselves. And that new level of self-leadership then radiates out to every other level of leadership in their life, whether it's leading at home or leading in their businesses. They have built a structure that supports space for them. And again, I've said it so many times in this episode, I'm going to say one more time, their businesses actually grew within that. So I think there's a real cap that women experience. And they might talk about, women talk about their time is capping them from having this success without sacrifice. Maybe it's their team. Maybe it's the market or the economy they're operating in right now. Maybe it's the specific industry that they're operating in. None of that matters. And I know there's some of you yelling at your car radio or your AirPods right now saying, yes, it does, Lorraine. It does matter to a point, but it's not what's actually underpinning why you feel like you're still stuck in this success, with this sacrificial success stage right now. And that real cap is the identity that you are ascribing to right now. And it's also the architecture of, you and the identity that you're in right now. It's the architecture that you have gone on to create as a result of you being in that identity. You cannot out-strategize if your structure is just misaligned with you and what, as I said, you hold precious and you value most closely to your heart. If your structure of your business is out of alignment with that, it is impossible to strategize out of that. There needs to be an architecture shift. There needs to be a design shift to enable you to design a business that is going to support you so much more beautifully and so much more spaciously. I am just today, you're actually the very first to hear about it, announcing a masterclass. It's a completely free masterclass. I'm going to be running it 3 times over the next few weeks, and it is called Success Without Sacrifice. So if what I am sharing with you in today's episodes is really resonating, and I actually want this to activate you. I want you to feel a little kind of buzz in your heart and a little kind of buzz in your veins of like, fuck, I don't want this to be like this anymore. I want things to feel more spacious. I want to have a 3.5 day work week, or I want not to be working on Sunday mornings at 6 a.m. to catch up on the week. If that is activating something for you, I think this masterclass is going to be incredible. So in it, what I'm sharing is the 4 pillars that allow you to scale with power and with ease. And spoiler alert, one of those pillars is peaceful revenue. It's one of the most important pillars, because of course you don't want to step off the gas and reduce your work hours if you don't feel like your business is financially able to support you to do that. So we absolutely need to address the revenue factor and make sure that revenue is becoming something that is more gentle on your nervous system than stressful on your nervous system. I'm also going to be talking about why strategy and more strategy and getting more strategic isn't always the answer, and what the answer is instead. And I'm going to be sharing with you, I am so directly and openly and generously sharing in this. I'm going to share with you the exact framework that I work through with my private one-on-one mentees and also my Bold Darling members to enable you to build this sense of momentum without burning yourself out in the process. I don't want to hear about burnout anymore. I genuinely don't, because there's so much better a way that we can do business as women, as female founders. I'm not saying that business is not going to be stressful sometimes. I'm not saying that there are going to be periods where actually it's pretty full. Like this week, as I'm recording this, feels really full. But it's not the standard, yeah? It's not just the status quo of this is how we just operate. I really just want us to be able to stop talking about burnout as female founders. And there are very clear reasons and factors that we can change and redesign in order to enable us just to let go of the burnout piece. So if you might be thinking, I really want to scale, but I'm already at capacity. Like, yeah, Lorraine, I'd love to grow my business, but I'm hanging on by a thread right now as it is. If that's what you're thinking right now, this masterclass is going to be amazing for you. You might be thinking, I want more cash, but I don't want more stress. It's going to be amazing for you. Maybe you're thinking, I really just want my business to support me. I feel like I'm doing so much to support my business. I want my business to support me. So this is going to be your room. If any of those 3 statements or those kind of frames of mind resonated with you, this is your room, and I would love to have you in it. It's completely free. It's a 1-hour masterclass. It's over Zoom. You do need to register just to make sure that I can send you all the playbook and all the incredible things that we're going to be adding as part of the resources to this masterclass. You can register for it at lorrainemurphy.com.au/SWS for success without sacrifice. And just come, get the roadmap. It does not need to be this hard. And of course, a 1-hour masterclass isn't going to change your world overnight, but it will give you very clear steps forward on what it is you most urgently need to change. It's a very tightly structured masterclass. I ran it last year and I've had so many women said to me, Lorraine, I was on that masterclass. I didn't go ahead and, do anything else with you just yet. But what you shared in that masterclass has had such a profound difference on my business. And I want that for you as well. So remember, you can register at lorrainemurphy.com.au/SWS, and I'll pop a link in the show notes to you as well. And I really, again, hand on my heart, success, it's not meant to cost your life. It really is not. And I hope I've shared enough examples and I've convinced you enough that if you are feeling, jammed on that hamster wheel right now of scaling and pushing and trying to grow, that there is an easier way. There is a way that enables you to have more space. And that's exactly what I'm sharing in this upcoming masterclass. I'm so excited to have you join me. I think it's going to be extra special this time around based on all the learnings and all the insights that we've had. Even since then, since I ran it last time, so much has shifted and changed in my world and my mentees' world. So there's a whole other level that I'll be taking this training to over these few weeks. So I would really love to have you join me. Links in the show notes to register. And I will be back again next week with another episode. Thank you so much for joining. I know I've been very impassioned on this episode. It's because I really care. And I just don't want one more woman to go through my experience 7 years ago and the experience that I've seen so many of my mentees have in the past as well, because there's a much better way. And I'm hoping that as you're listening to this episode, and hopefully you're a regular listener, you're following me on Instagram, I just want you to know that I'm walking my own talk on this. My life genuinely does, for the most part, feel really spacious. And I want that for you too. Sending so much love, and I will chat to you again in next week's episode. Thank you for joining me this week.